seafood. It's one of the towering pillars of our Australian culinary reputation. A reputation that's recognised throughout the world for its sensational taste and sizzling innovations. But there's more to great seafood than just what you see on your plate. And you're about to dive deep into the full story of how it gets there. I'm Andrew Ettinghausen. I've spent the past 2 decades fishing for fun on screen, yours and mine. Now I'm getting serious, teaming up with some of Australia's toughest professional fishing crews and introducing them to some of the country's most creative chefs. Together we'll sail Australian waters from north to south to show you the whole amazing journey from ocean depths to the heights of culinary delight in each delicious adventure of seafood escape. G'day and welcome to the show. Well, this week on Seafood Escape finds us in South Australia's Gulf St Vincent. I'm out with Bart Butson and Chef Rebecca Stubbs, and we're looking for a fabulous day on the water. As you can see, the conditions are perfect, and we're trying to find out how our seafood makes it to the restaurants and tables around Australia. We'll be fishing today in the shallow waters adjacent to Bart's home base, about 100 kilometres north of Adelaide at Port Wakefield. Originally settled as Port Henry, the town's name was changed around 1849 when a dock was established to handle the export of copper ore. This small river port, where this morning's major activity is Bart's one-boat operation, was once South Australia's second largest exporter of wool. Today, fishing, both recreational and professional, is one of the town's major economic contributors. The sustainability of these fishing grounds is managed through a careful program of restraints.
There's a limit on the licences. There's only 35 of us across the state.
Wow, has it always been 35?
No, the numbers have come down from 300 when I first started, 300 net fishermen.
300? So there were 300 net fishermen doing this sort of stuff every day of the week.
That's right.
Net fishing from boats like Bart's is limited to just 3.6% of the total area of Gulf St Vincent, mainly centred on Port Wakefield and equally small fishing ports of Stansbury and Durham. That's not a lot of water for an activity that's part of an industry which contributes around 40 million annually to the South Australian economy and which provides direct and indirect employment for about 500 people. Out here at the sharp end of the industry, Bart and his deckhand Sean work long and arduous days to bring home a catch that's often a real fisherman's basket of different species in varying quantities. Running the net out is the first step in a work process which fluctuates between bouts of intense activity with long periods of waiting and patiently watching. That's the end of half a kilometre of net that they've laid out, and they'll now keep hauling it back towards the anchored buoy where they started, making a large circle of mesh which they hope will trap a good number of squid and mixed scalefish. It's a long, slow haul back to the starting point and a long while to wait until they can see the payoff. Well, it's taken about an hour after the nets were dropped in for us to work all the way around. We're just about there, and the target species is going to be squid, which is fabulous on the table. We're hoping in this section here, there's a pile of squid, they'll work their way down the net and get caught right down to the end. There's a big pocket, and that's where all the fish and squid are going to be ending up. I'm looking forward to seeing the action. That's the circle of livelihood for Bart and Sean right there. Whatever is swimming inside it will determine whether the hard work they have coming up to haul the net in will be worth it. That's about to start right now. This will be hard yakka, but also painstakingly careful and slow. They want to retrieve just the net, leaving the catch in a small pocket of mesh they'll leave in the water. The boat's going to just keep on pulling this in. The net will become a lot tighter until there's just a very small circle and it flushes all the fish into the pocket. You won't really see too many fish caught in the net itself. That's not the idea of this way they fish. Don't rush is the name of the game. There's a lot of net to pull in, yeah. It's about a 2-hour process each shot.
500 metres.
500 metres. I know, it's a lot. So the boys are very fit. We'll see how fit we are on the next shot. way they're actually laying the net is really important, because if we want to have another shot, the net all has to be able to be set off the back of the boat without any tangles. And the other thing is we're fishing over the top of a big weed bed, but there's hardly any weed coming up in the net, and the weed is quite strong and obviously buried into the mud and the sand.
The net doesn't really scrape the bottom, it just sort of goes over the top of the weed. If we damage the weed, we wouldn't have a job. We do occasionally get fish meshed up in this bit, and you know, if they're good fish, we can keep them, of course, but yeah, the idea is that we try to get them in the pocket part.
And the snook, I haven't seen much of the snook before, but you can prepare these for the
They're
table.
actually very, very tasty.
Wow.
Snook, same with Tommy Ruffs and sardines. You really want to have those super fresh when you cook them.
Yeah, well, that's super fresh, freezing cold.
You don't actually ever get to come out onto the boats and actually see how it's done, the people that are the faces behind the business.
We're down to the final stages right now, and this is the real danger time when the fish and the squid sneak away.
I think it's a fair catch. Not a bad day's work so far. The local community gets the first pick of our fish. And then from there, we distribute to some restaurants in Adelaide, to Safcol, to Foodland.
And with the squid, I mean, are they going to ink everywhere?
Yeah, they probably will, yeah.
And I know a bit about that.
Oh!
Absolutely nailed me.
You got ya?
Oh, yeah.
I've been waiting for one to get me.
Well, you haven't been squid fishing if you haven't been inked, I reckon. Out on South Australia's Gulf St Vincent, it's time for us to see how well pro fisherman Bart and his decky Sean have gone with their first catch of the day.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a mixed bag, not too bad. It's basically a box, so the fish go in and rest in the back there while we scoop them out. We're very well regulated fishery, very heavily regulated, which is good, that's what we want. We want it to be sustainable, so hopefully there can be future generations of fishermen. With all haul net licences, you have to use a braille net to braille the fish out. We're just not allowed to bring the fish in and watch them flop around on the floor. We have to actually carefully take each scoop out, and that's it's regulated by law. So about 15 years ago, it might have been 20, Perth said everybody that has a haul net endorsement gets given a braille net on their licence.
And who came up with this idea?
That was Perth Fisheries.
Okay.
Together with Sardi, the research scientist.
And you think it's a great technique to use?
Absolutely.
And it's not just the fish that benefit.
This juvenile female, blue crab, it's got...
Oh, yeah, look at that.
It's carrying its eggs on the back. That female is probably about 7 or 8 centimetres, and they're not legal size until they're 11 centimetres across the carapace. It's regulated so they get to breed before commercial guys can take them.
Yeah, great idea.
And wreck fishers as well,
Yeah.
so it is really good management.
That's a really good idea.
And that's why there's so many blue crabs around.
Now Rebecca and I can help sorting and quickly releasing any bycatch. First squid.
Now we've got bottom of the squid now. There you go.
Oh, there we
you
go.
guys can sort those.
Don't get inked.
There's our catch. Half a box of squid and half a box of mixed fish.
Well, Beck, how about that whiting? Big gary.
Big gar.
Anyway, we're going off to do a little bit of cooking.
We've got a couple of dishes. The first one, I thought we'd take advantage of that beautiful whiting that we caught. Do a raw dish just to showcase, because whiting is such a beautiful, sweet-fleshed fish.
And a beautiful white flesh, isn't it?
We're just going to grate over a little bit of garlic. We also add some fish sauce, a little bit of pepper, and some sugar.
Wow.
You basically have some sushi rice.
Yep.
Similar to cold rolls, you basically arrange whatever fruit and vegetables you have around, a little bit of mango as well. A whole...
So this is done. This is ready to go.
This is pretty much done.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So, and all you do is the fish just goes in the middle, on the top, and then you can just chuck some little crunchy shallots, which I like to call Chinese popcorn.
Look at that.
It's so
that
tasty.
Looks sensational. That's
Healthy,
fantastic.
summery, and delicious.
And you can find this delicious summer recipe at seafoodescape.com right now. or at fishfiles.com.au, where you'll also find plenty of facts on whiting sustainability. Now, what have you got for us here?
So, well, I'm thinking with those garfish, they are perfect in little sliders.
I can see the bun out here, so you've cut the bun in half.
Cut the bun in half. We've toasted them lightly.
Toasted them, yeah.
We've got a pan that's heating up. We're going to pop a little bit of butter in there.
Yep.
And I'm actually going to
I've
get
heard little bits of butter talked about by chefs before.
Lies.
Chefs
or maybe
love
not.
butter.
So what I'm going to do is get you to cook the
okay.
garfish for us.
No worries. Wow, they're so thin, these little strips.
So pop it on 10, 15 seconds on one side and then turn it over, and then there should be enough heat left in that pan to cook them through. And so whilst you're doing that, I'll finish assembling the sliders. So over here, we've got a little bit of mayonnaise. We're going to add some fresh chopped chilli. We also have some parsley as well. Just tear it up with your fingers. A little bit of wild fennel works beautifully with fish. And all we do is we just mix those together.
They're looking good, Beck.
We just pop a little bit onto each of our burger buns, like so. Fresh tomato, some sweet dill pickles, some iceberg. It's so nice and crunchy, and it's really good when just having that crunch from the lettuce.
Well, what do you reckon?
Beautiful.
Beck, we're going to take you on all of our fishing adventures, I think. Now, I guess you cut up some of this garfish and slide it in there, in the slider.
You do. Doing such a wonderful job.
Just perfect. Wow, voila. I'll say the voila this time. That's fabulous. Good stuff.
They're a pretty bunch of a crowd pleaser.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's going to please all us crowd as well. We've got a few people over there. Bart's sitting over there with his family, and I'm sure they'll be devouring this beautiful garfish sliders. Slide on to seafoodescape.com for this easy recipe. Also at fishfiles.com.au. On Gulf St Vincent, about 100 kilometres north of Adelaide, pro fisherman Bart Butson has reset his net for a second shot at the fisherman's basket of species that thrive here. And now it's time for Chef Rebecca Stubbs and me to show how good, or maybe not so good, we are at hauling it in. Jacket's coming off, the real work's got to be done now. All right. Well, Beck, this is how you get your seafood. It's quite an amazing job, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Okay, you're right. Okay, so from here it's sort of through and just lay it down like that. Oh. A lot different than what I thought it'd be.
Yeah, well, there's a fair way to go, but you guys doing all right?
So you've got to concentrate on making sure that where you lay the net, it's all going to come out nice and easy on their next drop. So really crucial to keep the net working its way along, not really laying over the top where it's going to get tangled.
Hey, imagine trying to do this in choppy water.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Finally, and feeling like I've battled a 500-kilo fish rather than a 500-metre net, Rebecca and I have managed to get the haul to the side of the boat. This is the pocket, the part of the net that holds the whole payoff for this shot. And it's the moment of truth for Rebecca and me. How we going there?
Let it out one turn, please.
Well, here we are at the final stages of the haul. How you going, Beck?
Going good?
Getting hungry.
Yeah, getting hungry. Well, there's a whole pile of squid in here. We could see them before, and they're cruising around at the moment up the back. And we've just got to be careful not to open the net up too much that they can actually sneak out underneath right here at the boat.
So it's really not so different from the kind of fishing I'm more used to after all. No matter how much work and skill you put into the initial capture, what it all comes down to in the end is how good you are at actually getting the catch into the boat. Any fisher who tells you he's never lost one close to the side is not being 100% honest with you. So far for Rebecca and me, so good. And our plan from here on in is that these birds will go hungry as we secure the catch and quickly return whatever bycatch we see back deep in the water. The fisherman's basket we've got in front of us right now includes Bart's prime target species squid, or southern calamari to use its correct market name, plus snook, garfish and whiting. Southern calamari and snook are the really important ones because they're the backbones of Bart's business. And not just Bart. South Australia is the largest supplier of snook to all Australian markets. And the state is also the leader in southern calamari, producing a sustainable 400 tonnes a year.
Well, a whole pile of different species in here. Pretty much all of these will go back. They're all kicking. I'll just give this one garfish a measure. And he makes the grade with the rest of them. A few toads, a few Tommy Rough. A couple leather jacket, on your way. Let the team down, hey? We didn't catch enough. How many squid? 4 squid, one big one.
Squid, yeah.
High five, high five.
And coming up, Rebecca will cook them. From the fish of Port Wakefield to the vineyards of the Adelaide Hills. With her partner Dwayne Coates, Rebecca is more than just a talented chef, delivering superb hospitality in her own winery.
My mum was a very, very good cook and still is. So she was a bit of an inspiration, and throughout my life in cooking as well, I've sort of had more mentors and things come along that have also inspired me as well. I started in an Indian restaurant, and then when I was qualified, I actually went into the pub scene for a number of years. And then from there into fine dining restaurants and winery as well now, and just lots of really cool fun events. It's been pretty cool. When you have your dish and then there's like a hush that comes over the room, that's really cool. It's cool to be able to go to somewhere and socialise, but when you've got a whole room that just goes...
Well, Beck, we went out on the water with Bart and he was just amazing. Lots of squid. And these little guys here, well, they're not so little. This is a snook. So
we're going to be doing a marinated squid, which is going to be marinated more a little bit Japanese in style. So we've got some soy sauce and mirin and things like that. And over this side, we've got the squid side.
So where are we going? Right or left?
We'll start on the left side, I think, with the snook first of all. Okay. We'll run through some of the ingredients that we've got. We have got some mirin. We have some soy sauce. We'll be putting a little bit of palm sugar in there. Then we shall have a little, summery kind of healthy salad. So at this stage, we cut our snook into little pieces, quite little bite-sized pieces.
There we have it.
Indeed, so
awesome.
Easy. And what we're going to do is mix our mirin, some soy sauce, and we just grate the palm sugar over as well.
Looks magnificent.
We just put our snook in.
And has this got to be marinated for long?
The only thing you have to be aware of is the longer you soak it, the firmer the flesh on your fish will be when it cooks, because the sugar and the salt end up starting to cure the fish. Whilst that's heating, we can make our salad. Some Spanish onion, because they're just so tasty. Some fresh mango. We'll just mix that up a little bit, and some raw green beans, because I really like that crunch.
Okay, so there's sweet and sour and crunchy and all the different flavours all blended together.
Some sesame seeds, a little bit of fresh ginger, really goes well with the mint.
Right, okay.
So some fresh lemon juice,
Ooh, fresh lemon to top it off.
a little bit of fish sauce. Some snook that I marinated earlier.
Yes.
This has been sitting in the marinade for about an hour.
Okay.
So what you'll need to do is keep an eye on this. And you see how it's caramelising up very, very quickly? That's because of the sugar. This kind of thing you can't do with a really large piece of fish. Now that I've turned it over, you saw how quick it was that it changed colour.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's looking good.
It's going to be delicious. And would you like to give the salad a bit of a
Bit of a toss? No worries.
Yep.
What do I do that with?
Oh.
Just toss
Fingers.
it? Oh, really?
Get in there, get amongst it.
All right, sounds good. Oh, gosh, the fragrance. The different smells that are coming.
The idea with this particular dish is you just put a few pieces of fish on the bottom and then you build your salad up. So a little bit of your greenery, a few more bits of fish.
Slices on top. And there we have it. Wow, a seafood feast right there.
Pretend you're out on a tropical island somewhere and...
Yeah. Now, out with Bart, we also caught some squid. What are you going to do with it?
Well, it's kind of like a version of salt and pepper squid, but a little bit different. We get our rings, they just get mixed in some buttermilk. We add corn meal, some plain flour, it's about equal quantities, some smoked paprika and some yellow mustard, some black pepper.
I can smell that. That's great.
And we also add some white pepper. White pepper is a little bit hotter.
Fantastic.
So if you would like to just give that a bit of a mix,
No worries.
we just sort of add a liberal amount of salt. As soon as all the colour's nice and even, it's ready to go. So then all we have to do is our squid that we marinated the day before. You just pop them in, single layer if possible. We're using a deep fryer at the moment.
Okay.
Shake off as much flour as you can.
Beautiful. Look at that, all crispy.
So very, very quick process. Drain it off really, really well, and you can just pop that into a bowl. What I've done here is I've actually quickly sautéed some garlic, spring onion, and some red peppers.
Yep.
You just gently mix that around.
Fantastic.
Some fresh lemon. Job
Wow,
done.
look at that. What a combo.
It's pretty good. I'd be pretty happy.
And you'll be happy to know you can find both these recipes at seafoodescape.com or at fishfiles.com.au, where you'll also find plenty of information on sustainable seafood. And be watching next week for another delicious Seafood Escape.